Dear student, now I give lecture on unit commitment. What is mean by unit commitment? Unit stands for generator. Commitment means to meet our load demand. That is unit commitment. That means the generator is connected in the interconnected power system which is used to meet our load demand only. That means which unit is turned on or which unit is in service, that unit only to meet our load demand. This is the meaning of unit commitment. Now, what is the need of unit commitment? I will give the example. I will take 3 unit system. The unit 1 consists of the minimum load is 150 megawatt. The maximum load is 600 megawatt. The second unit minimum load is 100. Maximum load is 400 megawatt. Third unit is minimum load 50 megawatt and maximum load 200 megawatt. All the 3 units consist of the with fuel cost also. I take these 3 unit power system. From this and we clearly understand what is the need and necessity of unit commitment. Now you see the tabular column. 3 unit is there. So 2 power 3. So 8 combinations. So the 8 combination I put. In this, what is the maximum generation, minimum generation based on the load only, and then we can calculate the power and then fuel cost. Finally, we calculate the total generation cost only. So from this table, you clearly understand that means is similar to digital only. That is maximum we are taken 3 units. The formula is 2 power n. Here n is equal to 3. So therefore 2 power 3 means 8. 8 combination, that is 0, 0, 0, 0, 1 like that. So 0, 0 means off, off, off. 0, 0, 1 means off, off, 1. So like that we already know each unit minimum load and maximum load, that is known as generation. So we have to calculate maximum generation, minimum generation, and then the production cost P1, P2, P3 for respective 3 units, and then fuel cost, that means F1, F2, F3. In the tabular column, that is the solution is 8 solution is there. 5 solution is feasible, 3 solution is infeasible. The first 3 conditions, that is off, 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 on, off, on, off. That is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, then 0, 1, 0. These 3 condition is infeasible solution. The remaining 5 is the feasible solution only. Then next you see the diagram. From the diagram, that means you can draw the peak value load pattern curve. So the minimum load is, the base load is 500 megawatt. The maximum is 1200 megawatt only. So based on our example, the minimum load is 500 megawatt. Combine together all the 3 units. Similarly, the maximum load is 1200 megawatt. Now you see the figure 1b, unit commitment scheduled using shutdown rule. So in this case we have to prepare the shutdown rules. Then in these rules and here you see the minimum. Now we go to the tabular column. This is the shutdown rule only. Then we are considered as a minimum load is 500 to maximum is 1200. We have to prepare the shutdown rule. Based on this shutdown rule tabular column, we draw the curve. Now you see the curve only. So the unit 1. The unit 1 only, then that is means that is the 600 megawatt means this is the minimum. So the minimum, the unit 1 is sufficient to meet this load demand. If for example, if our load demand is 1200 megawatt, means all the three load combined together and synchronized, then only meet our load demand. So now you clearly understood the uh, unit commitment. What is the need and necessity of the unit commitment? Then we go to study about the constraints in the unit commitment. Constraints in the unit commitment. The first constraint is spinning reserve. Second constraint is thermal constraints. Third one is the other constraints. Totally three types of constraint is there. Many constraints can be placed on the unit commitment problem. Here we studied about only these three unit commitment constraints only. First, spinning reserve. What do you mean by spinning reserve? The spinning reserve is the term used to describe the total amount of generation available from all units synchronized, that is spinning on the system, minus the present load and the losses being supplied. This is the definition of spinning reserve. The spinning reserve must be allocated to obey the certain rules usually set by regional reliability councils that specify how the reserve is to be allocated to various units only. The typical rules specify that reserve must be given percentage of forecasted peak demand only, that is the peak load only. Then, beyond the spinning reserve, the unit commitment problem may involve various classes of scheduled reserves or offline reserves. These units can be counted in the overall reserve assessment as long as their time to come up to full capacity is taken into account only. So, finally, the reserves must be spread around the power system to avoid transmission system limitations. That is called bottling of reserves, and to allow various parts of the system to run as islands should they become electrically disconnected. The second constraint is thermal unit constraint. The thermal units constraint again classified into three types. One is minimum uptime, second one is minimum downtime, third one is crew constraints. Minimum uptime means once the unit is running, that is the generator is running, it should not be turned off immediately. That is known as minimum uptime. Minimum downtime means once the unit is decommitted, there is a minimum time before it can be recommitted. This is known as minimum downtime constraints. The last one is screw constraints. What is mean by screw constraint? If a plant consists of two or more units, that is the power system consists of two or more generators, they cannot both be turned on at the same time since there are not enough crew members to attend both units while starting up. In the crew constraints, we calculate the cold starting up cost and then banking startup cost only. How to calculate the startup cost when cooling? The formula is Cc 1 minus epsilon power minus T by alpha F plus Cf, where Cc is the cold start cost. So the cold start means that is the startup cost can vary from a maximum cold start only to much smaller value if the unit was only turned off recently and it's still relatively close to operating temperature. There are two approaches to treating a thermal unit during its down period only. The first one is the unit's boiler to cool down, then heat back up to operating temperature in time for a scheduled turn on. The second one is nothing but the banking requires that sufficient energy be input to the boiler to just maintain the operating temperature. So one is cooling, another one is banking. Two approaches we are used in the thermal unit constraints. So the startup cost when banking is CTTF, that means plus CC, where that means the CT is nothing but the cost, that means of maintaining unit at operating temperature. Then third constraint, now you draw the diagram. This diagram clearly represents what is the cooling curve, what is the banking curve of the generator. Then we have to draw the startup cost parameter and time dependent startup cost. We can get the cooling curve and banking curve of the power system. Then other constraints means hydro constraints, Mustern constraints, and then fuel constraints. Hydro constraints means the unit commitment cannot be completely separated from the scheduling of hydro unit only. Mustern means some units are given mustern starts during certain times of the year for the reason of voltage support on the transmission network, or for such purposes the supply of steam for use outside the steam plant itself. The last one is the fuel constraints, a system in which some units have limited fuel or else have constraints that require them to burn a specified amount of fuel in a given time presents a most challenging unit commitment problem only. So students, you clearly understand the what is unit commitment definition, and then what is the need and importance of unit commitment problem, and then what are the constraints used in the unit commitment. Thank you student for watching this video.